You've done everything right. You've climbed the ladder, you've built your reputation, you're managing clients, leading teams, and maybe you're even sitting at that leadership table. You are successful on paper. So, why does it feel so off? Why do you still feel like something is missing? You're going through the motions, but the motivation isn't there. I've had so many clients come to me and say, I should be happy. I've got the title, I've got the money, I've got the recognition, but there's just something not clicking. And that moment, that's when I know we're not talking about performance and promotions anymore. We're talking about misalignment. I want to tell you, success isn't just about what you build, it's about how it feels when you're living in it. And for a lot of high achievers and top performers, that part doesn't get talked about enough. We don't tune into how it feels because we never really had to. No one told you that hitting every goal might still leave you with a quiet ache, that your LinkedIn headline might be shouting success, success, but your gut, your insides are saying, this isn't it. If that's you, this episode is for you. I'm Nagar and welcome to the Consulting Game. In this episode, we're going to talk about what to do when success stops feeling like success. When the thing you've spent years building starts to feel disconnected and just wrong. And I'll tell you how to redefine success without burning everything down. When you first entered the working world, you probably had a picture of what success would look like. You probably imagined like a slick office, maybe some traveling with your work. You're doing decks and presentations and standing in front of a room and leading a team and having massive clients and big brands to work for. You saw promotions and respect and a really strong salary. And at the end of that picture, there's pride and fulfillment and a sense of arrival at success. But something nobody warns us about is success isn't always satisfying, especially when the version of success you're living isn't the one you want anymore. The expectations come early. Do well in school, get into a great company that has a name for itself, climb fast, be sharp, be efficient, be indispensable. And you did it. But in chasing that corporate, that consulting dream, a lot of us don't ever stop to ask, oh God, whose dream is this? Is this actually my dream? I was talking to a client and I referred to it as a gold plated cage. It's where everything looks really shiny. The brand name, the pay, the LinkedIn, applause that you're getting externally because your title is so fab and your company's so fab. But inside, you feel constrained, purposeless, disconnected, and maybe even numb to everything on a daily basis. You've built a career that looks amazing from the outside, but you're wondering, why don't I feel it on the inside? Listen, this doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean you've failed. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just means it's time to ask yourself a new question. What do I want success to feel like now? Pause this episode and answer that question. What do I want success to feel like now? There's this moment that comes up for my clients. It's quiet, but it's unmistakable. When success starts to feel off, you're still performing, you're still delivering, you're still saying the right things in the right rooms. but something inside feels off. Maybe you dread Sunday evenings. You start to feel like you're kind of playing a role, like you've become this ultra competent version of yourself that's all title and success on the outside, but empty on the inside. You get a win in work, you win a big client, a big contract, and instead of pride and achievement, you feel nothing. Or worse, some of my clients feel dread, resentment, because they know it's more work and more of the same. One of my clients, let's call her P, came to me when she just got promoted to director. They just announced it and she rang me. And this is what she said to me. Everybody keeps congratulating me, but I feel like I went for a role and just got promoted to a role I don't even want. She had worked herself to the bone for that promotion. And then the realization came that she didn't even want it. She wasn't ungrateful. She was finally telling herself the truth. Her career had outpaced her own sense of purpose. Her success had become all about performance and external validation. Look, you've probably spent years developing the skills, building the credibility, becoming who they needed you to be, becoming who your company needed you to be. But somewhere along the way, you stop checking in with yourself and what you need. And that's when misalignment shows up. So if you're feeling off and can't explain it, you don't know what's happening, if you're no longer excited by what used to get you excited and motivated, this might be your misalignment moment. Don't miss it. Success without alignment isn't success. It's survival in a good outfit. Success without alignment is not success. It's survival in a really good outfit. Now, let's talk about what happens after misalignment shows up. But before you've done anything about it, which is where a lot of you are, this is called the emotional fallout because you don't just feel off. You start to feel almost guilty about feeling off. You tell yourself things like, I should be grateful. People would love this job, this title, this organization. Maybe I'm just being dramatic. Maybe I'm just very entitled. This is just a phase. These are the things I keep hearing from my clients. And so they keep going. They ignore this voice in their head. They ignore that feeling in their body that something is off. You keep over-delivering. You stay up late. You tell yourself it's just a rough patch. And you hope that maybe if you just push through the next project, the next quarter, this next promotion, you'll feel better. Once I get promoted, I'll feel better then. But instead, do you know what happens? The voice grows louder. The disconnect grows bigger and bigger. I'm going to be very clear here. You're not being dramatic. You're being honest. When this misalignment shows up, you're being honest with yourself. You're recognizing something most people don't have the courage to say, or they just don't have the courage to even shine a light on it. They just ignore it. I want to give you an image. I once described this to a client as I called it the high achiever's house with no windows. It's a beautiful house. You've built it with intention and effort and ambition, and there's been ups and downs, but here you are now in this gorgeous house. That's your career. But now you're on the inside and you realize there's no windows. You can't see out. You're in the life you thought you wanted, but you feel trapped in it. That's what happens when success becomes a story you're stuck in, rather than a story you're still shaping. Here's a reframe. What if this isn't a breakdown? What if this is just a moment to redesign? Here's a mistake I see a lot of people make. They think the only way to feel better is to walk away from everything. Quit the job, leave the company, the organization, the firm, scrap it all and start again. They sometimes see a different path that might be easier and they feel is better. And yes, sometimes that's the right move. But more often, you don't need to burn it all down. You just need to reset it. Your career consulting doesn't have to be forever, but it doesn't have to be a prison either. It can be a chapter, a launch pad, or it can evolve into something that works for you, not just something you survive on a daily basis. Redefining success doesn't mean abandoning everything you've built. It means updating your definition based on who you are now, not who you were when you started. One of my clients called this the career alignment audit. She didn't leave her job, but she stopped operating on autopilot. She took the space to realign herself to her version of success. And that's what changed everything for her. So let me ask you something. What do you want success to feel like now? Not 5 years ago, not according to your mentor or your managing director who wants you to go for the next promotion, but according to you today. Because you are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to shift. You are allowed to ask for more, even if from the outside it already looks like you have everything. So if you're quietly thinking, this doesn't feel how I thought it would feel, my friends, you're not alone. You're not broken. Nothing's gone wrong. You're just at a crossroads. And that moment, it's not something to ignore because it feels scary. It's something to shine a light on because it means you're ready to move from one version of success that looks good to one that actually feels good. And if you don't know how to do that yet, I have good news for you. And this is where I come in. I want to invite you to an upcoming webinar. It's called Reset Your Consulting Career. It's on May 23rd at 12 p.m. British summertime, Irish summertime. This session is where I walk you through the exact 5-step framework I use with my one-to-one clients to help them unpack what's no longer working, identify what they actually want now, and make a decision they can trust without burning everything down. If you're ready to stop spiraling, start leading this next chapter of your career, this is your moment. Get your seat. The link is in the show notes. It'll be on my LinkedIn page as well. And if this episode resonates with you, share it with a colleague who might be feeling the same way. Let's keep redefining success on your terms. Until next time, remember, you don't need to settle for a life that just looks good. You're allowed to want one that feels right too.